Hi everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a multi-character questionnaire by me. So let's get into it. Venti. The two of you are arguing about a sensitive topic, one that he didn't like to discuss too much. And honestly, you only started the argument because you were worried about him, worried about his health and the way he was treating himself. But then, he started spouting insults at you. And soon, the two of you no longer cared about the basis of the argument, and were only hurting one another further. You know what, Venti? You're a coward, and that's why you're hiding under your dead friend's skin. You can't ever move on. You can't ever try and be yourself, to try and be different from what you have enclosed yourself to be. You're just locking yourself up in this thing that you've created. You tell him, yelling at him further. But then, there's hurt that flashes across his face, and then anger, and all of a sudden he grabs you by the wrist and slams you against the wall, and you have no idea how to get out of his grip. Fear encompassing you, and when you tried to wrench your arm out of his harsh grip, he gripped it even tighter, until it broke. You started crying, immediately pushing him away. And that's when you realized the anger that had taken him over. He was stunned, breathless and out of words. There was nothing you could say to justify this. Nothing you could do to save it. And if anything, to make sure you're better. If he cared about you at all, then he better see you walk away. Because anything else that he does will only be ruining you further. He took you to get healed, apologized, but he never bothered you again after that. Scaramouche. Scaramouche didn't mean to hurt you at all. If anything, he promised himself to never hurt you during an argument. But his fear, it got the best of him. And when he saw you making towards the door, angry and telling him that you don't want to see him again, when he just wanted to be able to explain himself without you yelling at him, he gripped your arm too tightly and started pulling you back, telling you to just wait a moment, to hear him out. And he'd been too rough, and he ended up breaking your arm instead. He wasn't usually used to doing this, to fighting with someone he essentially didn't mean to break apart. He was too strong for his own good at times, and in all his panic and fear, he forgot to control himself around you. And seeing the hurt and fear in your face, it struck him, and it scared him, because he had hurt you. He had crossed a line he never meant to, and right now, he doesn't know how he will ever be able to go back. Ryan, I'm sorry. I really am. I'm sorry, Ryan. Please. Don't talk to me right now. Please. Please, Scaramouche. I need some time. I need to process this. You tell him, close to tears. And he nods, knowing that you would be right in any decision that you've made. Because honestly, what he's done is horrible. And he doesn't know how just bad it could get. If anything, leaving him would be at least a way to keep yourself safe. And that's what he thinks you're thinking as well. Xiao? Xiao seriously did not mean to break your arm. It was an argument, yes, but he would never ever be rough with you, under any circumstance. But it was an unfortunate circumstance. There was something going on around you. And somehow you still managed to argue while you were being attacked. It was mostly Xiao because he was worried about you, and how you got pulled into this mess. And soon, he saw an attack coming towards you, and the best way to protect you would be to just push you away. He had instead pushed you away too strongly, and you thought he was angry at you. And when your arm broke from the impact, you shouted in pain, only to look up and see him shouldering the impact that would have actually gotten you and probably killed you in your place, had you been there. And that's when he knew it wasn't really due to the argument itself, but due to the circumstance you're in. You didn't mention it, but in your heart, you forgave him. And you were really sorry about what you did, because you knew you were holding him back, and you were the reason that he got injured so many times, trying to save you. Perhaps you should listen to him next time and stop making foolish decisions, but right now, you just needed to stick together and make sure that the two of you come out of this alive. And later on, you would make sure that he's not mad at you. And you will make sure that you get healed up. And this argument will be long forgotten and put behind you, because there are much more important things to take care of right now. Tighnari. Tighnari wouldn't actually be violent, especially having seen the effects of it on Kale, a child that he raised. And also because he was just not that kind of person, so he would never break your arm, and he would never hurt you. But it was a complete accident. The two of you were arguing, yes, but he never meant to hurt you like that. And because he shoved you out of the way, he didn't realize that there was something behind you that you hid. And somehow, he had shoved you with enough strength that you almost broke your arm. It didn't actually happen. It was just a tiny fracture, but it still worried him all the same. Ryan, oh my goodness, I didn't mean this. Are you alright? He asked, and though you were angry at him, you told him that you were fine, and that you didn't need his help, and stormed off. He made sure you're alright, and asked one of his friends to accompany you until you went wherever you wanted. And later on, he would come over to you, apologize and get down on his knees, giving you a bouquet of flowers, and telling you that he will never act like that again. He won't let his anger take over. He won't let himself lose control and do things like that could hurt you. He never intended it. He just wants you to be safe and happy. And whatever argument it was, it didn't matter to him anymore. He just wants to get you back and to have another chance with you. A chance to show you that it's not all so bad.